Don't miss the moment of your awakening to start a new life. Dr. Nicole LePera felt her spiritual awakening while reading a book in a wooden house in the forest. At that moment, she burst into tears over the book, reading a passage about emotionally unavailable mothers. LePera was embarrassed. She recently celebrated her 30th birthday and realized that she had made all her childhood dreams come true. She was a practicing therapist, lived in her dream city, and had a loving partner. But at the same time, she was still empty and emotionless. In addition, she had health problems due to which her consciousness sometimes turned off. LePera realized that she was energetically devastated, so she needed a change. Since that moment of awakening, her mornings began with meditation, exercise, and breathing work. She switched to a healthier diet, and her body began to heal. Then LePera took care of her psychological health. She realized that some childhood traumas had lived with her for a long time and continued to affect her well-being and relationships. She also discovered that her genes did not determine her destiny. Anything is possible with the awakening of your awareness. After changing her daily routine, Nicole LePera noticed positive changes in her health and self-awareness. She felt that she arrived at a new level of therapeutic activity, which she dubbed holistic psychology, and formulated in the following theses. Practice self-healing every day. Healing comes from within. It should become your active work. Holistic psychology harnesses the power of daily choice while allowing you to resist the urge to return to old habits so that you can maintain a path to change. Taking responsibility for your mental well-being can provide incredible opportunities. With the help of this summary of how to do the work, you will gain new knowledge of your life's psychological, physical, and spiritual aspects and learn how to implement that knowledge. You will be mentally equipped to explore your traumas, set personal boundaries, and develop emotional maturity. She admitted that her anxiety and panic had disappeared. The summary explains how to achieve similar results. Self-healing. You can program your body to treatment. You may be familiar with the following situation. You find yourself stuck in a specific scenario. You have decided to lead a healthy lifestyle, but you cannot find the strength to go to the gym. You want to leave behind a failed relationship, but text your ex again. Dr. LePera concluded that therapy could only bring you closer to healing, but real changes come only from daily work on yourself. She noted the importance of the connection between body and mind, without which healing is impossible. Imagine a lemon, its smell, rough yellow peel. Imagine taking it in your hand and cutting it. Visualize the juice dripping from the knife. Now, imagine taking a slice and putting it in your mouth. If your mouth fills with saliva during the visualization, you have created a connection between body and mind. According to LePera, modern medicine focuses only on treating just the mind or just the body, ignoring the fact that the two therapies should not be separated. When we don't ask how we can contribute to our own wellness, we become helpless and dependent. We can change even at the cellular level. Our genes do not determine our capabilities. The science of epigenetics explores how our behavior and environment affect the work of our genes. Biologist Bruce Lipton calls it the new biology. For example, studies have shown that a child of a parent who has experienced racism or trauma will have the same health problems. We are more than a bunch of our genes. We are conscious, which is responsible for the health of the body. Self-healing works in the same way as the placebo effect or the power of faith. The mind can create all the necessary conditions for healing. When the body knows it is on its way to wellness, it signals the mind to heal itself. Did you know? The nocebo effect is the opposite of the placebo effect. It is an unfavorable premonition where the result is more harmful than it actually would be. Recognizing patterns and future self-journal as the method of overcoming them, Dr. Nicole LePera has developed a short questionnaire for those who feel stuck in specific patterns and cannot get on the path of change. If you answer yes one or more times, you may need help. 1. Do you feel that sometimes you are overreacting to events? 2. Do you find it difficult to express your needs and desires? 3. Is it true that sometimes you can't keep the promises you made to yourself, or you find it challenging to make new choices? 4. Is it true that you can't deal with stress? 5. Do you notice that you return to events from the past and reproduce old patterns day after day? LePera invites you to start the Future Self Journal, a daily practice that will help you get rid of the autopilot and the constant repeating of past events. You will introduce new habits into your life and turn on the green light for a change. Record your emotional state every day, set small goals for each day, write down what you did and what you are grateful for. Spend 10 minutes a day with a journal, and you will find that your sincere desire for change will improve your life. Instead of constantly thinking about your past and future, focus on the present moment. Dr. LePera advises that we devote a few minutes a day to grounding techniques, focusing on being in the moment to change habits that drive our daily activities. You should be in a comfortable and safe place. Look around, consider every detail, smell, and listen to sounds. Say the phrase, "I am in the present moment." Imagine that you are washing dishes. Notice the bubbles and feel the dish's texture against your fingers. After practice, thank yourself. With this simple exercise, you will learn to pay more attention to the simple pleasures of life in the here and now. When you focus on something enjoyable, you release anxiety and notice the moment. Try to write in a journal about the causes of your panic and what thoughts and feelings brought you back to normal condition. Trauma is an inevitable experience and a master teacher. Childhood traumas are a significant obstacle to everyday life. By trauma, we mean a severe event like abuse. However, neuroscientist Robert Scare defines trauma as any negative event that occurs in a state of helplessness. For example, Nicole LePera did not experience violence or harassment as a child. Still, as an adult, she realized that important memories, first kiss, graduation, seemed blurred in her memory, and she hardly remembered faces. As it turned out, she suffered spiritual trauma. Traumatic experiences may not always be obvious to you. When parent figures have not treated or recognized their untreated traumas, they will most likely affect the child. Trauma can also lead to anxiety and panic attacks. LePera suggests analyzing the archetypes of trauma. 1. Parents denied their child's reality. For example, a child is embarrassed to communicate with a relative or family friend, to which the parent replies, "You'd better behave politely." Thus, the parent teaches the child not to trust their emotions. 2. Parents do not hear or notice their children. This is ignorance and a lack of emotional connection between the children and the parent. 3. Parents tried to fulfill their aspirations through their children. For example, a parent tries to make a child a singer or an actor because they desire fame. Such parents often consider their own life a failure and project this belief onto the child. 4. Parents didn't respect their child's boundaries. For example, a parent secretly reads their child's diary. As a result, the child becomes evasive. But 5. Parents fixated on appearance. 6. Over-emotional parents. For example, a parent aggressively breaks down on a child because of problems at work. Dr. LePera is confident that trauma is inevitable. The birth process is already traumatic for both mother and child. First, determine your possible type of trauma. After that, start analyzing according to the scheme. In childhood, when my parents, I felt. Record the situation that caused your panic in a journal, and remember to write down what helped you return to normal condition. As you get closer to understanding your trauma, it will become easier to relieve your anxiety. Love your body. Relieve stress. When your mental state is under stress, your body cannot help but react to it. There are 2 types of stress: normative, which helps you grow and adapt, and chronic, which harms your entire body. If left untreated, your immune system will activate an inflammatory response throughout the body. According to Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory, the body's vagus nerve connects the brain and gut. In a safe situation, the nerve signals the body to relax, bringing calm and allowing easy communication with others. But when stressed, the nerve triggers the body to respond accordingly. The heart beats faster when an X arrives, and public speaking causes stomach pain. People with poor vagal tone, chronic stress, suffer from concentration problems, lack of emotional stability, and have difficulty meeting new people. If you don't deal with stress, you risk getting stuck in trauma and becoming addicted to the intense physical response caused by stress. Stress can turn into a bad habit like smoking. For example, You cannot interact with your partner when you return home after a stressful workday. Instead, you turn on Netflix and watch true crime to get back to your usual unstressed state. How do you deal with this? Record your condition in the journal every day. Write down what you've done to heal, what you are grateful for, how the practice will change you for the better. Ground yourself. Find a smell, sound, or an object. Focus all your senses on it. Try meditation. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Imagine light shining from your heart. Repeat that you are safe and put your hands on your heart. Limit your sources of information. Try spending more time in nature. These simple ways can help you get rid of your anxiety. The more attention you pay to your health and calmness, the easier it will be for you to defeat panic attacks. How to heal body and mind. Daily practices. Self-healing begins with the ability to understand the needs of your body and inner self. You can establish the connection between your brain and body with the top-down process. An example of such a practice is meditation. You control the body with your brain and navigate it to calmness. The opposite approach, from the body to mind, is breathing or the physical aspects of yoga. Mindful breathing is one more key to life without anxiety. Try Wim Hof's breathing exercises. This famous Dutchman controls the processes of his body with the help of breathing, which allows him to feel comfortable in extreme temperatures. 1. Practice in the morning or evening with an empty stomach. 2. Sit or lie down in a comfortable place. 3. Inhale deeply with your lower abdomen. 4. When you take in your maximum breath, stop and hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. 5. Exhale slowly without exerting effort. Breathe in and out at your usual pace. 6. Repeat 10 times. Nutrition is an essential part of a healthy body, but eating when lonely, sad, or bored without listening to the body's needs and eating excess sugar, processed carbohydrates, and trans fats causes inflammation and can lead to intestinal dysbiosis. You can improve your gut health by adding fermented foods such as sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, and kimchi to your diet. Pay attention to your sleep patterns. Coffee and alcohol interfere with good rest. LePera advises to stop drinking alcohol 3 hours before bed and limit your coffee intake after noon. Avoid using your phone a few hours before bed. Instead, read, play with your pet, or take a bath. Healing the mind begins with belief. The image of who you are is your view of the world. The more often you have specific thoughts, the more your brain believes they are true. But faith is just a practiced thought. Observe your thoughts throughout the day. Write them down in a journal to create new beliefs instead. Pick the one that would make the most significant difference in your life and start working on it by thinking about it more and more. Find your relationship patterns and face your ego. Relationships with parents shape the dynamics of all subsequent relationships that emerge in adulthood. Psychologist Mary Ainsworth has identified 4 types of attachment that occur in the first 18 months of life. Safe. The child is briefly upset when mom leaves the room, but quickly recovers and is happy when she returns. Anxiety resistant. The child is distraught when the mother leaves and cannot calm down for a long time. Avoidant. The child barely reacts when the mother leaves and returns. Disorganized, disoriented. The child's reaction is unpredictable. Failure to form secure attachments during childhood leads to toxic relationships with friends and partners. There are 7 archetypes of the inner child whose behavior patterns arise in adults. Caretaker, takes care of everyone except themselves. Overachiever, feels their importance only through achievements. Underachiever, tries to be invisible because of fear of failure. Rescuer or protector, tries to save everyone. The life of the party, always cheerful and afraid to show their weaknesses. Yes person, leaves their needs behind to help others. Hero worshiper, needs an example to follow. Even if your life is not divided into pre-post-traumatic events, there are chances that some patterns from childhood still live inside you. Try to write a letter to your inner child. Imagine a friend or relative tells you that you look tired. In response, you sarcastically respond that you work a lot and that it's probably great to have a lot of free time. Objectively, you were told that you look tired, but you are sure that the person who said this is rude. This reaction is the response of your ego, which forms in childhood through beliefs transmitted by your environment. In other words, the ego has a tendency to defend itself, which is why it does not always clearly assess the situation. The ego is a consequence of your life experience. You can work with your ego, making it more open to the world. Find a quiet place, sit down, close your eyes, and repeat, I am safe, and I choose a new way to experience myself as separate from my ego. Give your ego a name. It will make it easier for you to separate yourself from it. Learn to recognize when your ego is speaking and when the voice of reason is speaking. The pinnacle of self-care is setting personal boundaries. Lack of supportive parenting relationships during childhood can lead to persistent toxic relationships in adulthood. Signs that you may be forming traumatic bonds. 1. You have an obsessive craving for specific relationships, even if you know they will have troubling consequences. 2. Your relationships rarely meet your needs. 3. You only strive to satisfy yourself in a relationship. Determine the type of attachment that sounds familiar to you. In this case, keeping a diary of observations and forming new, healthy beliefs also helps. Another vital element of self-healing is creating healthy boundaries. The ability to express the emotions and opinions that belong only to you is an important skill. The formation of personal boundaries results from all the self-work described in this summary. Boundaries protect you. They keep you physically balanced. They help you connect to your intuitive self and are critical to experiencing authentic love. When you set boundaries, you experience a sense of security. Your physical well-being also returns to normal, since the autonomic nervous system is in a state of calm. There is great liberating power in one simple no. Observe your life situations to understand which of the following categories your boundaries belong to. Tough. You have few close relationships. You are afraid of rejection and do not know how to ask for help. Loose. You often please others. The opinions of other people determine your self-esteem. It's hard for you to refuse. Flexible. You value your beliefs and thoughts, know how to communicate your needs, and regulate emotions. Try the following. 1. Determine which aspect of your life needs boundaries. 2. Simulate situations that you would like to change. Think only about your comfort and not about how others will feel. For example, you may feel uncomfortable when a coworker jokes about your clothes or when friends use you to complain about a relationship. 3. The third step may seem simple, but it is often the most difficult, maintaining new boundaries. Once you've established a boundary, it's important not to give up and stay calm while resisting over-explanation. Psychologist Dr. Steve Taylor believes there is a phenomenon of awareness that he calls awakening. Awakening is the ability to understand that you have a soul that connects you to the universe. Dr. LePera noted that people who practice spiritual activities can reestablish a connection with the wise inner parent. How do you awaken it? 1. Learn to regulate your emotional state to deal with stress. Engage in breathing practices. Release your emotions without feeling guilty. 2. Discipline yourself. Create small goals and rituals for the day and try to fulfill them. 3. Take care of yourself. Supporting your own needs is the key to your well-being. Do some meditation, exercise, and keep a journal. Try to spend more time in nature. 4. Discover the childish ability to wonder. Dance or sing to your favorite song. Do something unplanned. 5. Practice meditation to better understand your body and your emotions. Learning to maintain partnerships and friendships is another key to happiness. Look for people who can become your new friends, for example, in communities on social networks. When facing a stressful situation, take the time to answer the following questions. What patterns led me to this situation? How can I overcome discomfort? How can I deal with criticism? How can I forgive myself and others? Remember that the essence of self-healing lies in your continuous work on yourself. It starts with listening and hearing yourself, and continues with respecting the needs of body and soul. Try this. Dr. Nicole LePera advises to fill out the Future Self Journal according to a specific template with the following points. Today I am practicing. I am grateful for. Today I am. Change in this area allows me to. Daily journaling